Hi guys, this is my first video, so please bear with me. A little bit nerve-wracking when you haven't done this before, and I look so darn pale to myself, so that's gonna be weird as well. Just to let you know right off the bat, I'm weird, I'm funny, I'm sometimes irreverent, but I'm always gonna be honest. And I think we need more of that in this world when it comes to taking care of ourselves and weight loss. I am 51 years old. I have been big for as long as I remember. I started going to Weight Watchers with my mom when I was 12, I want to say. It was 12 or 13. She was always a bigger woman as well. And just so many things. When you're younger, it seems to go easier. You lose a few pounds here and there, no big deal. But then I got married. You get all comfy with each other, and you think you don't have to do quite as much. And oh crap, you're 400 pounds all of a sudden. I want to say I started out around 330 back then when I got married, and I was 23 years old at the time. So, pretty much over half my adult life, I have been super size, I guess what you would call morbidly obese. And it just became so hard to try to lose anything. And once you get to a certain point, it gets hard to move, and especially to do the exercises. And my highest weight ever, I want to say early 2000s, was 459 pounds, which is mortifying to me at this point. But there was a lot that had went on in my life: sadness, depression, a lot of loss of family, and I just comfort ate way too much. So I'd say it took me, once I reached that point, I was like, okay, I'm very uncomfortable. I was still doing things. I was going to school. I wasn't working at the time, but I mean, how can you hardly, unless you can find a job where you were going to sit? So it was just one of those things that I'm like, okay, I have to do something about this. So started working on it then, and I got myself down to around 400. Well, you teeter-totter back and forth over the years. And so I'd say I went between 4 and 425 for a long time. And then I'd say probably about 5.5 years ago became the time where I said, okay, it's do or die, basically. And it was truly that. I will get into more of my crazy past life eventually, but it was just one of those things that it was like, okay, I am going to sit here and literally eat myself to death, which was an option, sadly enough. Or I'm going to do something and I'm going to make this work and I'm going to help other people. Because, man, it shouldn't be this hard. And the way I look at it, diet is not a word I like using whatsoever. It is not in my vocabulary other than say it starts with die. It's not a good option. And I fully admit I have not had the best relationship with food over the years. I got to the place where I wasn't eating even enough, and that still is a struggle. And I know some of you are just going to shake your heads and be like, what? How are you still fat? Well, I also have something called gastroparesis, where my stomach holds food like for a day. So most people that have gastroparesis can't keep weight on, but there are some of us that can't seem to get it off. And it's just been such a struggle because, man, especially I never push the way my boyfriend and I eat on anyone, but we eat a lot of whole food plant-based meals. And it's hard to get 3,000 calories a day when you eat that way. Especially when a lot of times I don't feel like eating a ton of food. I'm really trying to start breaking it down into smaller things now, the 6 smaller meals a day, which I've always hated the idea because I'm not used to being hungry. That was part of my issue back when I got so big, was I would wait till 6, 7 in the evening because I wasn't hungry. And then, of course, you're going to binge on the wrong things because at that point, you're starving. But so back to the point, I do tend to ramble at times. Is that I decided to get where I would start trying different herbs and supplements. And some have worked, some took them out of the rotation. I'll talk about that more on a separate video. But it just really, the one thing that I would say would be the saving grace of it all, of anything I have found, and it can be found on Amazon. It's called George's Aloe, and it's a gallon, and it's like $26, and it'll last me, I want to say, 4 to 5 weeks. I started out with 2 ounces a day for about a month, and then I went up to 4 ounces, and I've been doing that for, I want to say, we're at about 9 months, 10 months, something like that. And I can really tell the difference in the fat, because especially my SSBBWs out there, that tummy fat's the last thing that wants to go. But it finally, I still feel and look quite large. As I say, I still feel very fat. And to me, fat's not a bad word. It's just what I am. I don't say that disparagingly whatsoever. And you shouldn't either. It does. Other people use it as a slur. We shouldn't use it as a slur towards ourselves. Self-talk is very important. I've learned that very much along the way. But I can actually now tuck my tummy up. I'll have to put some pictures at some point to where it looks halfway small comparatively. It's like, wow. And with the aloe, the reason I started it was because I had read that it helps the thyroid. And if you have thyroid issues, which I've always thought I had, but those tests are so iffy. It can be just the tiniest bit, say, oh, well, maybe you have a problem, or no, you don't, when you probably do. But I've always had some thinning hair issues, some obviously eyebrow issues with thinning hair, but it just really, the hair's starting to come in a bit thicker, and like I said, especially with that fat loss. And I do water aerobics as well, so it's not just the herbs and trying to eat better. I do that 5 to 6 hours a week on average. I know not everybody has that amount of time to do it, but man, if you can get in the water, especially if you're a supersized BBW or big handsome man, please do it. It's amazing. There's no stress on your joints compared to what you would do on land-based exercise. I can jog. I can run. For quite a while, actually, which is amazing to me. And it doesn't put you out of breath because you're just so weightless. It's amazing. But I guess I should wrap up. I just wanted to at least get this video out there to kind of tell you a little bit about who I am and what I'm about. And, I really have always wanted to help people. And not everything is one size fits all. And I think that's the lie we've all been sold. Oh, if you try this diet, or no, try that diet, where you have to spend all this money. And it's like, no, we need to figure it out for ourselves. I'd read something the other day about saying how that every single person has differences in their brain, and that's why there hasn't been not everyone's the same, basically, and that they can't say that certain studies like, oh, well, this, and that. Well, yeah, we're not all the same, and we're not all the same when it comes to our bodies and our metabolism. If you look at my mom's side of the family, grandpa's side, actually, they all have these big apron bellies. And I'm like, well, of course. It is partially genetic. It's partially how we've been raised to eat, whether it's good, bad, a lot of processed food, which we have really worked on cutting out lately. But I just want to help people. I've helped myself, and like the tagline that I'm taking control of your reality. That's what I feel that I have been doing, and that's what I want you to do. You need to take control of your reality and quit just thinking that other things like the diet industry are going to help you. They're not. They want to make money. If I ever make money, it's not going to be off you. That's not my plan whatsoever. I'll make it off advertising or other avenues. But I'm not going to say, oh, well, $59.95. I could tell you what I've done. No. We're going to share this journey together, and I really hope to help you. And, and that maybe you'll help me too along the way, because I don't know everything. I'm still learning. Let's learn this together, and let's all take control of our reality, because this world really needs that.